Hello, and welcome back to the Art of Reduction here at Trailway Studios in Bloomington, Indiana. My name is Reeve Andrews, and I'm going to be your barber today. Today, we're going to focus on how to attack a bald fade. I have a great client. His name's Greg. You might have seen him earlier in the seasons last year. We're going to just do some little different techniques. He has grown out some of his hair on top, but he still wants a really nice tight fade. So even though you've seen this model before, you haven't seen this haircut yet. So Greg, come on over, buddy.
Hey,
Good to see you, bud.
good
How are
seeing
you?
you as
Yes,
well.
doing excellent. How's life?
Yeah, it's been great.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, like with any client, a nice firm handshake, good little rapport, nice little talk. It just kind of creates a good energy for not just yourself, but your client as well. And most important, if they come in with a collared shirt, I always like to try to get them as kind of loosely buttoned as possible. Always flip down that collar. I really want to be able to work on, as a barber hairstyles, we have the opportunity from the shoulder blades to the top of the hair. This is our domain. So any hair through this area is my game. And I want to be able to assess and get rid of the hairs that we need to get rid of. I definitely enjoy using neck strips. So I'm just going to do a nice little neck strip on Greg. And I just kind of flip it down. More importantly, I know you see me do it wrong. A lot of times I just kind of bull cape it around. But really the trick really is you're supposed to kind of come from the forward and come forward like this. That's just kind of the classic way. I'm not quite sure what the meaning is behind it on why it's proper, but maybe kind of flipping it out might pull hair around or knock over something on your station. I don't know. So anyways, however you do it, you can do it however you want. But I just know classically I was taught to kind of come forward, even though I break that rule a lot. So we have a wonderful head of hair for us today. A lot of regrowth on his fade. He mentioned how his hair's thick, guys, very, very thick. And he says, I will cut his hair and he'll go home, in 2 or 3 weeks, he'll kind of hit his own hair with thinning shears. And he gets to watch a lot of my videos, so I assume he's learning some of the techniques there. But really, if I'm looking at him, to be honest, like the top of his head looks really good. Like he somehow he has a hard head, a lot of cowlicks back here, but he did great. So what I want to really focus on today with Greg is really the hardest part for him probably to do is like his own fade. So we're going to really talk about fading today. Yes, we'll kind of usher up, kind of take off some of this hair, but let's just go ahead and start attacking this haircut aggressively today, especially since we're really just focusing on the back and the sides. Let's really go attack mode on him today. So I'm going to initially drop my line on him using my clippers. And then I'm going to come up and really kind of edge him out with my trimmers. Okay, guys? So I'm just going to kind of naturally kind of find kind of a higher fade on him. I'm going to be right below his occipital bone is my goal. So using my clippers, so it'll be a little less of a harsh line to blend out. And I'm just going to use him being stationary, but me able to twirl my chair to really create a nice clean line that goes with his face shape and his head shape. So I'm gonna come all the way back around. I'm barely pressing. I'm damn near not even pressing onto his skin. His hair's so thick. I'm just kind of creating that natural line because I really don't want to create some guideline that's really hard to blend out. So let's keep going all the way through. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip and I'm going to go right into my guideline. And I might actually be more aggressive and I'm just going to take my tightest trimmer and I'm going to start low and I'm going to go all the way to that guideline. Nice and slow. Allowing that tool to do the work. Watching which way his hair grows. His hair kind of grows all kind of little willy-nilly at the baseline, but kind of calms down as we move up. Again, just calm, smooth, confident strokes. He has just one little blemish over here that I want to make sure that I personally try to remember. So if I do any razor work, or even with this tight trimmer, you could really kind of cut somebody or nick somebody, even with these like zero gap trimmers. So let's just keep cleaning this up. Get that base as clean as I can. And I'm going straight into that guideline. Straight into that guideline. Straight into the guideline. Watching out for this little blemish right here. A lot of times I'll just put my finger on it. I just, I can work around it, put my finger on it, get really close, but I'm not going to actually trim it. But most importantly, in my brain, it's just kind of calculating like, hey, we need to be careful when we're around that ear. And it just kind of keeps me aware of my surroundings. So let's go ahead and continue cleaning up the bottom part of this fade. Clean up his cheekbones while we're here. Clean up his ear while we're here. I could hear hair being taken, so we need to be patient. Let's move all the way around now. I like to kind of flick that hair out of the way so I could see what I'm doing. All the way around. Whatever you do to one side, we must do to the other. Clean up that cheekbone. Clean up nice and tight on the sideburns. Awesome. So that was a pretty quick debulking of a lot of hair and really creating the foundation of this fade. So I'm going to go ahead and blow them off. I'm going to hit them with just a little bit of pre-shave. Block his face. Block his face. And again, I'm going to jump on just a feather razor real quick. And I'm just going to just kind of attack the very bottom of this fade. So I just want it to melt perfectly into his skin. I love the feather razor. Allows me a lot of speed with precision and with a very tight feel. The odds of me cutting them are there, don't get me wrong, but they're way lower than just using a straight razor. I have my finger around his little blemish so I don't accidentally knock it with this straight razor or the feather razor blade. And I'm just trying to blend everything nice. Go ahead and do a little eyebrow detail with the feather razor. Cleaning this up. Again, just making it nice and tight, something for that blade to capture onto. And my main objective of this, I just really want from that tight trimmer to blend right into skin. Just a really smooth transition, using the back part of my hand to kind of feel for any stubble or any long hairs. Again, don't be afraid to move that scalp around, kind of cleaning up the eyebrows here. I try to do as much work with my tool as possible when I have it. I'm not the biggest fan of having to like jump back and forth from tools. Why not try to complete the job when the tool is in your hand? It really is going to make it for a smoother cut and opportunity for you to put all the detail you can in, because you're saving yourself a lot of time instead of going back and forth from station to station. So that feels really good. I'm going to go ahead and jump on my foil shaver. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of Sterling's Gold. And my first initial swipes I'm coming down. I'm not going to be coming up. I'm coming down. So I'm going to kind of start kind of a little higher. And all my swipes are coming down. We'll do the back first. I'm going to come all the way to his ear. Okay, now that I've kind of, my initial swipes were coming down, now I could kind of go back to just a classic foil shaver kind of motion, kind of a nice little circular motion. Just really working this skin now all the way down his neck. Feeling the back of his neck to make sure there's no stubble. Feeling really good. So let's go ahead and move to the front. Same scenario. My first swipes are down. To get around the ear, I'm just kind of flipping it. Going into a kind of a more classic foil shaver technique. Nice little running out of juice, so I better hurry up.
We've got another one of those.
Yeah, I was about to say.
May I?
Grab
Let's
it.
go grab it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah?
Ran out of juice, used this all day, and just did a full haircut with it. So they usually have a lot better battery life, but again, probably I didn't have it on charge when I was at my shop. So luckily we have another one on backup. So we're gonna grab that real quick. Little pit stop. I guess we could talk. So both Babyliss, this is kind of the new one. This is the one we've had for years. They had one on deck. Can't thank you guys enough. But we're a big fan of Babyliss. So if Babyliss is watching this, send us some more goods, okay? So let's go ahead and hit this with our Sterling's Gold again. And again, just attacking the sideburn, kind of melting it into skin. Why not go ahead and do a little cheek work? I'm gonna flip his ear over, get real nice and tight around the back of his ear. It just feels so good to have all that hair off the back of their ear. Just they can feel the wind whip around it. It's a very wonderful sensation when you have a nice clean ear line around the ear. So let's go ahead and come back over here. Awesome, guys. That was perfect. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and just jump on my straight razor. I'm going to hit him with it just a little bit of pre-shave. And all I'm going to do is I just want to just kind of touch base on the sideburn right here. And just around this ear. That's it. I don't need to do much more. Awesome. Let's go ahead and do it to the other side. Just working the back of this ear. Creating some tautness. Perfect. Again, I don't like to talk too much when I have the straight razor in my hand. It's just a dangerous tool. So just to be confident and to be present is all I need to do. Okay, so let's go ahead. So now I have a great foundation. I think this looks buttery smooth, blends nice. Now we have about 3 inches back here to work with, and then it kind of sneaks down to about 2 inches to work with up front, because we're trying to keep some of this length. He managed it really great. I'll go through some of it, but the top just looks really good in my book. So I'm gonna try to do something different with him. I'm going to do trimmer over comb, which I haven't done too much here. Again, Johnny B. Comb, we call it the money maker at my shop, and I'm gonna start reducing some of this weight with my trimmer and this comb. So let's just start attacking it. I want it a little shorter up front. It's gonna get a little longer as we adventure back. So I'm just gonna start really taking off a lot of weight. Basically, I'm using this comb as a guard, angling it to where I want it the length of the hair to be, and then I'm just taking my trimmer as I get farther up into this haircut. I'm tilting out more and more and more. Being patient, straight up and down. Everything is going really smooth so far. Let's continue working around. Let's try to do most of the haircut like this. Let's see. I'm gonna keep working. We're definitely gonna have to jump on the clipper to kind of blend that bottom line out. But let's see if I could really shape up this whole haircut using this technique. I'm pretty good at it. His hair's really nice. Has a great shape already, so I'm just trying to enhance it. I think I can do it. So let's go ahead and kind of move him around. Coming straight up, using my comb as my guard. Move him around so you can see what I'm doing. Just going with this head shape is my number one goal when it comes to fade, and just kind of seeing how do we make it look more slim, more symmetrical. You know, all this is we could accomplish that through how we create this fade and where we keep hair and where we take hair away. So let's go ahead and keep dwindling this down. I think this will just be a cool video to watch without using any guards really, to really kind of create a cool look. Straight up and down. That's looking really good. Let's come back here. Start taking off this corner a little bit. Bringing it out a little farther. Keep extra length there. Love it, love it, love it. Let's come back here real quick. Kind of see where we're at. Working our way back around. Trying to keep some length back here. I feel like if I'd go too short, he would kind of alfalfa up and have some kickers, but so far this is just looking really nice. So let's just roll with it. You could take off a little bit of length back here to just make sure it has a good shape, but overall I'm feeling it. So let's just kind of keep working that out. Okay, let's move back forward over here. I'm gonna get this a little tighter. So far, I'm just very happy with the way this is turning out. So far, we've only used just a couple of tools, and we're really, really looking solid. Let's see if I could even try to blend this line with my trimmer. So that would be kind of cool to be able to do. So I'm gonna start low, and I'm gonna start blending this out. Kind of going back and forth from the toe to my heel. Coming straight up. Being patient. I only have about not even a half inch to be able to kind of work this fade out. So let's just be patient here. Back and forth, back and forth. I'm just slowly tilting up as I get a little higher into it. I just have I'm kind of pushing the blade closer towards me. So I'm not getting tighter as I go up. I literally am kind of fading up as I position my blade kind of farther and farther out from his head. I could hear hair being taken, so let's just be patient. I'm gonna jump back on my comb. This is looking awesome. Straight up, straight up. Again, doing all this work with the trimmer, it's pretty awesome to me. I love trying, and I've done this many times, but it's just fun to try new stuff. You know, if you've been cutting hair for years and years, and you feel like you're kind of getting burnt out, hate to say it, you're just not trying new techniques. I bet. You know, you're not putting yourself out there to try to get different types of clientele with different types of haircuts or ethnicities or backgrounds. You know, of culture. Like, I'm never bored behind the chair. They have so many different people walking in and out of our shop and different realms of life. It's just so beautiful. So if you do find yourself getting a little burnout, I mean, I get it. I understand. I'm not saying like you shouldn't feel like that, but I do encourage you to try new things behind the chair. If it's an attitude shift, if it's some type of tool you're using or a technique that maybe you're using too much, maybe there's a technique you're not using at all. You know, I just encourage you to educate yourself with other forms of hair cutting if you do feel like you're getting a little burnout, because man, there's so much stuff out there that should enlighten you, inspire you to really enjoy what you're doing. And if you don't enjoy doing it, get away from the chair. You're not trapped there. So, you know, give another stylist who is an opportunity to cut those clients. So again, if you're not liking what you're doing in life, it's the only person to blame, I believe, is you. I mean, unless you're oppressed, which I know a lot of people are. But even then, I think there's ways to get out of it. And so I just encourage everyone to really try their hardest to love what they do. If they're not loving what they're doing, get out of it as soon as possible and find something that you do love what you do. Because life is too short to be miserable at work. And like I said, if you're miserable, you're going to be, your clients are going to be miserable. The people you're working around is going to be miserable. And that's just not fair for those guys. So I'm feeling really confident in the way this trimmer fade is looking. He just has good hair. I've been cutting his hair for a while, so I know a lot. I know his hair quite well. So I know a lot of people are like, man, how's he doing that? I've cut Greg's hair quite a bit in my life, so I just kind of know the way it grows. But still a pretty hard haircut to only do a trimmer on his fade. So let's keep working this out. That's looking really good. I'm just gonna hit a couple hot spots, some areas, some detail work. But overall, I'm feeling very confident in this cut. If you even want to, let's kind of tiger paw down. Okay, let's go ahead and blow them off, just kind of see what we're working with. Beautiful, beautiful. So let's go ahead and let's get them wet and kind of assess. Just now, I love how tight we got our foundation. I love the fact that we used only trimmers for the walls or the sides of his hair. So let's go up top and kind of see. Again, he's managed the top of his hair quite well. So let's go ahead and just kind of see what we can do to kind of liven this up a little bit for him. So anytime I use a razor or a lot of scissor work, water is our friend. So he really doesn't let's see here. I think one thing to really kind of clean up a haircut is just making sure the front is just has a nice clean line. So let's go ahead and just make sure I'm not changing his hairline whatsoever. I'm just seeing if there's any rogue baby hairs that might just be kind of messing this up a little bit for him. So let's just go ahead and mark those off. He has just a couple enough where like these aren't going with the rest of his hair. There's about 5 hairs up here that I think could be assessed. So let's just go through here. I'm just gonna line up this front. I'm not even lining up the front. I really am just kind of taking off some of these rogue hairs they're a quarter of an inch long, not even that. And I'm leaving all that really nice thick hair for Greg. Let's go ahead and just kind of do a little lineup up here. Frame this face. This is my tightest trimmer, so why not kind of go back and do a little detail work, especially right here in this corner. Loving it. Let's go to the other side real quick. We're going to push. Clean up this corner just like we did the other side. Eyebrow detail. Love it. Let's pop these off. And let's go ahead. I'm trying to see if I'd even need to bust out scissors on him today. It would be cool if I didn't have to. If I could maybe make this look good with my trimmers and maybe a feather razor. So I'm going to take my trimmer now and I'm going to start shaving down any bad kickers. Again, he's maintained his hair over the last couple of weeks with some thinning shears. So in my book, I don't really need, I mean, maybe I could take some bulk out, but I need to be careful because he's kind of been doing that naturally himself. So really, to me, creating a nice shape on him again is kind of my main objective. And then I'll kind of go through and maybe see if I need to take some length off. But with the feather razor, I could do all things. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to kind of find the corners. That's my biggest concern. Where there's corners, that means there's a lot of weight, and we don't want it like that. So I know he found a corner over here, and I'm just going to use my feather razor to break apart these corners, make it a little bit more of a blend, which he already did a good job. So that's the best. Again, I'm just putting that hair between my thumb and the razor, giving it a little bit of a backstop for that hair and that blade to have something to capture onto to get a nice cut. This hair really kind of goes towards the right, so I'm not here to fight it. I'm here to work with it. I could do point cutting just with the toe of my razor. Again, I mean, there are a little bit of dead ends on him, so we could definitely attack the dead ends while leaving a lot of length. Let's go and just clean this corner up. His crown's pretty unique. It's right here, kind of like real far. You know, a lot of times, you know, it's more kind of in the middle or kind of high up in the middle. But with Greg's hair, it's right here. So like the energy's kind of like kicking over really heavy on this side. So I'm just gonna follow. I call it the eye of the hurricane. So I'm gonna kind of comb his hair down. This is the eye of the hurricane, and each hurricane has its own wind patterns or its own swells. His kind of kicks short here. It goes all the way here. These kind of grow up, and these are kind of really fanning out towards this front of his head, and these just do a real quick. You can almost kind of see it. So that's my trick. I'm just gonna follow the swells or the wind pattern, and I'm going to cut into that which way that's growing using my feather razor. So if I have to kind of come over here now, since his hair is growing really aggressively all the way wrapping around here, here it's just a little kicker. It's just, I mean, that's only about a half an inch of hair right here, right at the bottom of that crown. But once we get way up here, you know, this hair is like 4 inches long up here. So it's just about working with which way that crown is growing, so we could really create a nice haircut that is going to work with his crown and work with his cowlick, and we're not fighting it. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to, again, I'm pulling that hair out. I'm cutting it into which way it wants to grow. Definitely not fighting it. Creating some texture. This is going to be a really fun haircut. Okay, I am going to use some scissors. So I was wishing I didn't have to, but I just want to kind of clean up basically just the outliers. Like, again, I like the shape we have here. I was able to dial it in. I was able to put a really fun fade on him, get all that thick hair on the backs and the sides out of here. And now I'm really just kind of working the rest of this haircut out. So let's go ahead. It's a little dark through this transition. Let's knock some of that weight out. Clean up this corner. Point cutting, point cutting. Let's go ahead and kind of comb back here. See if we could reveal anything, kind of cross-checking. Again, I'm really just, his hair's in a good shape, so I'm really just trying to find any hairs that are a little damaged at the end. We got back from Florida. He's in the sun, so it's just important to make sure we're getting just healthy hair. Doesn't mean we have to cut a lot of it off, but just like I said, just little bitty trims, even at the very tips, really make this haircut feel different for your stylist. And I feel like that's always the goal. How can I make my client feel different when he leaves? And there's many aspects. You could, through a good conversation, through a good service, through a facial, through a nice massage, through a good haircut, a thorough haircut, you caring, you smiling, you smelling good, you having a clean station. Like, there's so many ways that can make your client feel good. And that's always the goal. How can I make him, when he walks into my shop, how is he leaving feeling like a different person or a better person? And if we could achieve that with every single client that walks through our door, that they feel better and more cared for and better looking, you guys are going to be very successful. And that's the name of the game, is how can we be successful as well and make money for our families and our friends and ourselves while being behind the chair. So I'm really starting to like what we created here. It was simple, it was fun, it was effective, it was unique. Using that trimmer to fade is just, no one's really doing that in my book. So I thought that just really turned out great. It's going to be a unique looking cut for him. That looking good, Henry?
Looks amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and blow it. I'm going to take off the cape real quick. Clean up his neck just a little bit more at the very bottom. Get all that moisture off of him. Again, I'm using my wind and my blow dryer to be my brush. Brushing it in the direction I want it to go. Like to close my eyes, just kind of vibe out. Catch my breath, get my heart rate back down. Some final detail work as his hair dried. There's just a couple little kickers over here. I'm gonna get him a hot towel real quick. Make sure it's nice and kind of cooled down real quick. And the hot towel just kind of gets all that loose hair. If you're not going to shampoo them out, which I do encourage you to shampoo your clients out before they leave. But really, most importantly, what I like to do is just get them clean, man. Get all that loose hair off of them. Make sure, it kind of just shows off the haircut a little bit more. Shows if there's any areas you missed. Maybe you thought that hair was a loose hair, but it's not coming off, so you missed a hair. So it's nice just to get them nice and clean. And more importantly, you want them to do special things when they leave. They're not just going, lollygagging around. They're going back to work. They might find their husband or their wife. They might go get a new opportunity for a new job. They're doing stuff. So it's I want my clients feeling top notch every day. It's kind of doing editorial work on the everyday man. That is my goal. Every haircut that I try to do in the shop, I want to assume it's going to be on GQ. And if you kind of have that mentality, your haircuts are gonna look really beautiful. So today, I only brought one product today, so I'm gonna use the Sheen cream on Greg as well. Again, it's just he would probably be better off with more of a kind of a tougher product because his hair has a lot of thickness and coarseness, but his hair is in really great shape. So maybe just this just adds a little bit of shine, adds a little bit of hold, but it's more pliable. He's gonna be able to run his hands through it, and really, this looks great actually. Always like to check them out. "360-degree, check them out." I mean, these guys live in a 360-degree world. Their haircuts need to match. So I'm just gonna kind of hit some of these corners. Knock down this crown just a little bit. There we go. Let me blow them off one more time. Let me show you the haircut. Thank you again so much for watching the Art of Reduction. Can't thank Trailway Studios and Malone Media for all their work. I want to thank my model Greg for being such a great model with such cool hair. And I just hope you guys learned one thing today that you could take back to your shop and your chair to really make an opportunity to make some money for yourselves and create some opportunity for good haircuts for your clients. And hopefully you like the way we did that trimmer technique on the fade. I thought that looked really cool. And thank you so much for the support. And you guys have a wonderful day. Greg, thank you so much, brother.
Thanks so much.
Enjoy. Thank you, guys. Enjoy.